It was not working out. And she said, son, listen, I have nobody else except this job. And this job feeds me and I need this job. I have to go on with it. After my death, surely you could try and the government may give it. I don't know. So then it went on. There were huge fights went on between mom and son, and the son got separated. But one day they decided to come home. When they came home, you know what they did? They pulled down the fuse carrier, and there was no power at home. And the son was standing at the door, watching. Is anyone coming near to the place, near to their house? And his wife just went straight to the bedroom. As she was lying there, she took the pillow and put it on her face and killed her. And when the police caught them, and he was asked, why did you kill your own mother? Why did you allow this to happen? And he said, I wanted money. And my mother said, she can't give it. And she wouldn't give the job. Now tell me, this person was burning with a thirst. Am I right? Thirst for money. Money. So own mother is no matter that I could get rid of her, because I'm thirsting for money. The same thing happened with lust. People could burn with lust and they can just go on. People would be, thirst for power. Power. That they could stamp anyone and climb up the stairs. People could thirst for recognition, that I should be recognized. It doesn't matter. Ego. Some people thirst for beauty. I remember I have a friend who has a beauty parlor, and his wife is working for the ladies section, and she shared one day that a lady came to her parlor and she was given all the makeup and all that was going on. I don't know the details about it, what was going on, but they would say the bleach and all that kind of stuff. And then she asked, madam, I'm just wondering, at this point of time, are you going for a party or something? And she said, no, I'm going for a funeral, and I need to look good, because people would come and ask me, hey, what happened to you? And I'd be put down there. So please make sure that you do what I want. And she was telling me, Father, she's going for a funeral and she's so much worried about her own physique. It can happen. Because you're so worried that I should look good. And your whole thirst is that of your physique. Your food, your money, your beauty. So now let me ask you, what is your thirst in life? Because that's what is going to drive you. Your thirst is going to drive you. That's going to happen. So now you need to ask yourself, if it's power that's driving you, if it's money that is driving you, if it's your desire for flesh that's driving you, or if it's your own ego that's driving you, the Lord says, and He's asking you and me, what is your thirst in life? What are you thirsting for? We need to ask this question. Dear friends, in the gospel, we have few characters who show the real thirst in life, their real thirst. Take for example the man who sat on the tree. What's his name? Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus had a lot of money. He was defrauding people and he was amassing wealth. He had food on his table, he had wine to drink, he had a beautiful home, everything was great. But why did this man leave everything and run and climb up on a tree and wait there for a man to come? Why was that? Because he was thirsting for something else. He had money, he had food, he had all the wealth, he had all the facilities, but he was thirsting for something else. That's why he was waiting for this man called Jesus. And when he came and he said, come down, let's go to your place. And they went and they dined together, and Jesus says, salvation has come to this house. We have the second character. This particular woman was there in Simon's place, and she was at the window, and she was watching Jesus. He sat there, and he was not welcomed. Okay, and he's there in the corner. And now this woman was engaged in the sex trade, and definitely she would have earned some money and all that. But this woman was just watching Jesus. At one point she couldn't resist herself. She just runs inside and goes at his feet, and she's crying with her tears. She's washing his feet, and then with her hair and wiping it, and she kissed it, and she's there, and Jesus said, "Don't sin again, go." A thirst brought her. And think about the disciples. Whole night they tried fishing and they got nothing. And they are there at the shore. When Jesus comes in, Jesus says, "Come, let's go." And they say, "Lord, because you say it, we tried." So they go. And when Jesus shows them, put down your nets, and they put down, and they catch huge amount of fish. And they come to the shore with the fish, not just one boat, two, full of fish. And then Jesus says, "Follow me." And they leave. That is wonderful. They were thirsting for fish, for their job, for their money, and for their business and everything. And when Jesus says, "Follow me," how it's possible for those guys to leave a boat full of fish and walk empty-handed with Jesus? They had some other thirst, am I right? It was not for the fish. They know that this is not going to satisfy them. They left everything. They didn't even say that, "Jesus, can we just take few fish for tonight supper because it's fresh and nice?" No, just walked empty-handed, just behind him. These people show a kind of thirst, am I right? It's not for money. It's not for fame. It's not for lust. It's not for good physique. The thirst was really for joy, peace and happiness, which they could find only in Jesus. That's why they left everything and came to him. When I was an assistant parish priest in India, he's appointed for 2 years. A girl came to me. She was of 23 years of age. Maybe you would call it a woman or whatever. She came there and she asked me, "Father, I want to be baptized." And I asked her, "So are you not baptized? Then what you are?" She said, "Well, I'm a Brahmin." You know who is a Brahmin? Brahmins are Orthodox Hindus. They're from that particular clan. The Hindu priests come. So very, very orthodox. Okay? So they would not budge for anything. Their religion is everything for them. Okay? Now she comes from that kind of a clan, and she says, "I want to be baptized." And I got a bit scared because that's going to put me in trouble. So I asked her, "See, if you want to be baptized, there is a process. You have to go for a few classes and you have to be educated, and then, we would baptize you." And she asked me, "Father, if you want any prayers, anything, please ask me." I told her, "See, there's a whole lot of prayers." And she said, "Father, please ask me." I said, "Okay, let me start with the easy one." I said, "Say the Our Father." And she just said it. I said, "Hail Mary," said it. The commandments, said it. Commandments of the church, said it. Everything is just going one after the other. And I asked her, "Now tell me, where did you learn these?" And then she shared a story to me. When she was just 11 or 12 years of age, she developed love for Jesus. Because she studied in a convent school, and she would often go into the chapel in the convent and pray there. And she looked at Jesus and all the sermons that was preached during the mass and all that. Somehow she got attached to Jesus. And she knew that she can't become a Christian because she comes from a very orthodox Hindu family. But she devised a plan. The plan is, she said, "Father, when I was in school and when I was 14, I devised a plan. If I have to become a Christian and embrace Jesus and Christianity, I have to do this. That I have to fall in love with a Christian and I have to get married to a Christian. And that guy have to really earn good money because my parents wouldn't allow me. Okay, supposing if he earns good money, my parents would say that, okay, because my daughter would have a grand life." So I devised the plan and I started executing it. So I took the subject which would help me to go into a structure where I could see Christians or I could see men who are really earning good money. So IT is the best choice. Information technology. So I took IT. So from school to college, the plan is going on. And when she graduated from the college, she was looking for a good place where she could get good money, or she could meet a man who would earn good amount of money. So the choice was Bangalore. Have you heard of a place called Bangalore? Bangalore is IT hub for India. So she went there. And she said, Father, in 1 week time, I started fishing out for a Catholic there. So she looked around and she targeted a man. And somehow she used to pray, Jesus, please help me. He has to fall in love with me. Please, because that's the only way I can embrace you. So somehow she proposed. And he took some time. But somehow, the Lord is always behind the one who is thirsting. Am I right? So he said yes. And she waited for the opportune time to break this news to her parents. And that time came in. She broke the news and the parents were shocked and said, no way. And then she used a trump card. You know what is that? He's rich. He's earning a great amount of money. It's like 80,000 Indian rupees every month. 80,000 Indian rupees is a good amount for us. So 80,000, and the parents said, give us some time to think about it. So they went, discussed it, and they would not find a man who would be earning in their own clan, because they're all pujaris and they're all priests. So they say, okay, but don't expect us to come for the wedding all by yourself. And she said, yes, I got it. And the next day she's there in the parish, and I was the assistant. She came and met me. And I remember I baptized her with other two priests and two sisters who helped her also. When it came to the time, at the end of the baptism, I don't think so many of you would remember, what is the last prayer you have for the baptism? The last prayer, without a blessing, and then the baptism is over. The last prayer, very simple prayer. It's Our Father. In the sacrament of baptism, the Our Father prayer comes at the end, not at the beginning, because you cannot say it until you are baptized. And when that was over, I said to her name was Christina. I said, Christina, because that's the name she took. Christina, now you have all the right to call God as your Father. Go ahead. I'm telling you. She knelt down, stretched out her hands, with tears in her eyes, because she was longing for more than 15 years to embrace Jesus. And she said, Our Father. And she didn't say Our Father, she said, My Father. I remember that. In Tamil it is called Yen Pidave. Okay, My Father. She said it without tears. All of us were in tears, because I have never met a person like that. 15 years thirsting for Jesus. Now let me ask you, is anyone here would have at least half that percent of thirst in your heart for Jesus? That is what I'm talking about. Thirst. A real thirst for Christ. A real thirst for Christ. I'm sure you would have heard about a king called Louis IX. Have you heard of a king? Okay, he was a very spiritual man. Like, he would go for 3 masses a day. 3 masses a day, this king. And once his ministers asked him, they said, King, see, it's too much. You're going for 3 masses a day, and that's not good. Just go for 1 and spend some time in the palace. The king said, supposing if I have 3 parties a day, would you not come for it? Or would you come and say that, King, don't have it? You would come and drink in every party. And he said, for me, 3 masses or 3 celebrations that I have with Jesus don't stop me. A king was thirsting for Christ. Today I ask you, what is your thirst? You would say, yes, Jesus is important for me. Yeah, but he is in the list. Does he top the list? Does he top the list? Or is he there? One among all that. I have to go here, I have to do this, and I will also go to church. And I will also pray. It's not I will also. I will also.